Next on Deck with Tim Black.
That ain't the Joe Rogan I know.
Right.
He's a friend. He cares. If I call him, he'll pick up the phone. If he can help me, he will help me.
If I called him, he'd be like, how'd you get my number? See? You said it. He's a friend. At least Shannon Sharpe had a podcast. He had on one of my favorite comedians, Mrs. Pat. Mrs. Pat is just authentically funny. She's like the best of the women I grew up with, the type of humor that we were used to, the wit, the quickness, the style, the vernacular, like just a down-home regular person. Just funny as hell. There's a lot of people like that. She's one of them. She reminds me like, to me, she's like a Mike Epps, like somebody just funny. You know, you've been funny. To me, Miss Pat probably been funny her whole life. She's just funny. And now, after being a comedian for 20 years, I don't want to put no age on the sister, but she just honed that into more skill. She was already funny to begin with. Anyway, she sat down with Shannon Sharpe. They had a conversation, and an important topic came up. And let's just play it. It hurts me a little because it's disappointing.
Market went crazy this morning. We'll see how long it runs. I heard you, Joe Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
Joe is a comedian, does a great job with the UFC, and the digital space, he's the king.
He is.
You're good friends with him. So what's Joe like? Because you know him behind the camera, not in front of the camera.
Joe a nice person. Joe, you know, I hear a lot of things about Joe. People say he's racist, and I said, no, that's not the Joe I know. He's nice. If I ever need something, I can pick up the phone and call him. Hey, Joe, I can be honest with you. I can ask Joe to tweet out a show or help me with a show.
I want to stop right here. I want to say something. I admire the way she tabled that. She didn't say, Joe's not racist. Oh, hold on, Joe's not racist. She said, that's not the Joe I know. Smart. See, she's not invalidating your opinion. She's saying that's not who I know. Let me tell you about the Joe I know. That's all I can do is tell you my relationship with Joe. There may be people that have had problems with Joe for whatever reason, and because Joe's a white guy, they introduced it to racism when he could just be being an asshole at the time. I'm just saying, sometimes, man, and I've been guilty of this. I made this mistake a couple times. If someone gets on your nerves and you feel like you disagree with somebody and they come at you, you come at them, and then they do something, you may contribute that or attribute that to something racial when they could just be an asshole. They could just be, on the wrong side of the bed. They could just be whatever. It doesn't mean they're racist. It could. It doesn't mean they're not, but it doesn't mean there is. Okay? But once again, back to Mrs. Pat. I admire how she put that. This is a clinic on how to deal with these questions because we don't want to cape for other people. We're not in their heads. We don't know who they are, how they treated everyone. All we can say is, this has been my relationship with them. This is how I feel from that vantage point. This is my experience. There's a difference between this and somebody going, like Tim Scott would do. Trump's a good guy. He's amazing. Oh, come on. Trump's amazing. It's not a racist bone in his body. Trump's everything. Come on. Oh, come on. Trump's great. You gotta love Trump. Come on, guys. Love Trump. Trump's could never. He doesn't see colors. He only sees people in your heart. See, that's the type of sellout stuff we hate. Mrs. Pat is the right way to do it. Be like Mrs. Pat. All right, Mrs. Pat, please keep going.
Before I can ask a black comedian. And that's bad to say. When the pandemic, he needs something, I can pick up the phone and call him. Hey, Joe, I can be honest with you. I can ask Joe to tweet out a show or help me with a show before I can ask a black comedian. And that's bad to say. When the pandemic hit, Two people called me and asked me, was I going to make it through the pandemic? And one of them was Joe Rogan. Wow. And I said, huh? I said, no, I'm going to be okay. He said, you good? You good? And the other one was Bert Kreischer. I said, no, I'm going to be okay. I'm good. Now, one black comedian called me and asked me, are you going to be okay? You going to make it through the pandemic? I don't even think we checked on each other like that.
Okay, I got two things here, man. I got to say this. And this is something, because when I was listening the first time, I was all in with Mrs. Pat on this. And I still am, but I got a caveat. She said, Joe Rogan, if I need him to share something, he just does it. He hooks me up. If I say, Joe, help me out, he helps you out. You said, black folks don't do that. I said, damn, that's messed up. That's bad. Then I started thinking about it. Joe Rogan is the king of digital. He ain't worried about you. Would Joe Rogan share Shannon Sharpe shit? Now, hold on a second. Hear me out, guys. See, this is one of the things I see brothers do. Brothers and sisters do this too much. Black folks do this too much, guys. We equate everything to color. We forget class. We forget levels. White people are competitive too. Don't get it twisted. But if you're no threat, you're no threat. Okay? You really think Joe Rogan, I don't know who number two is. Can number two ask Joe Rogan to tweet out his shit or hers? Probably not. Mrs. Pat, he knows you. You're a friend of his. Joe Rogan don't go tweeting out my stuff. He don't know me. He's got to have a relationship with you. You're taking a couple things for granted. You have a close relationship with the guy. I Wikipedia'd you. I read it. You know the guy for years. Of course he's going to share your stuff. He knows you. But he don't share people he don't know. Joe Rogan has been following me on Twitter for 5 years. He's never one time shared anything of mine. He has relationships with people that I used to know well. He's never shared anything of mine, not one time. But I don't have a relationship with him. Never met him. He don't owe me nothing. That doesn't mean he's racist. That doesn't mean I don't have a relationship with him. That's one thing. The other thing is, we need to stop. I wish we'd stop thinking that black people don't look out for black people. And that white people look out for black people. And that white people always look out for white people, because they don't. It's levels, man. Joe helps his friends. You're a friend, Pat. Theo Vaughn is a friend. Andrew Scholes is a friend. Tim Dillon is a friend. If they do something that makes them not friends, Joey Diaz is a friend. If they do something that makes them no longer friends, guess what? He'll stop selling their stuff. He'll stop sharing for them. It's the relationship. Relationship matters. Now, you do have a point, and we're going to get to it. I'm not saying I disagree that sometimes people are insecure. You're going to get into insecurities. You're going to get into some other tactical things, other things that rear their heads that I can't defend. And I'm going to be honest about those things. But I just want to clear this up a little, because often when we had this type of conversation, because you ain't the only one, people like group it, just go white, black. They don't say white at the top, black at the bottom, or black in the middle, or black near the middle top, white at the bottom, or white in the middle. You're not looking at the levels. Levels matter. NBC don't share CBS. Fox News don't share Newsmax. Right? Right, because they're in competition. And those are companies. That's not even people. That's not even colors. Well, let's face it, they are white. But I'm just saying this. I'm saying. You get what I'm saying?
No, we didn't. I mean, Joe.
Because a lot of time, Miss Pat, when we call one another, we automatically assume, oh, you trying to find out something, you fishing.
Yeah, sometimes.
You fishing. You ain't called to sincerely check on me. You just try to, yeah, I know Miss Pat ain't doing good. I don't know.
Yeah, but that ain't how I took it from them. I mean,
no, I'm not. No. I'm saying when we do that.
Yes. You gonna make it through this? I went downstairs in my basement and started painting my house in Indiana. The whole time the pandemic went on, I remodeled the house.
Right.
I mean, but and my daughter get on me all the time because she just see things one way. I see things down the middle. Like when people be talking that crap about Joe Rogan, that ain't the Joe Rogan I know.
Right.
He's a friend. He cares. If I call him, he'll pick up the phone. If he can help me, he will help me.
If I called him, he'd be like, how'd you get my number? See? You said it. He's a friend. Okay.
And I mean, there were times I asked certain comedians to tweet out my show, and they wouldn't even do it.
Now that's the part. That's the part. Now this I understand. I agree with you. We be competing too hard with each other when we're in the same lanes. It be too much of that going on. It's crazy because I'm like, yo, particularly in what I do, it's like, guys, why are we competing? Why come people can't subscribe to all of us? Why can't we all have 5 million viewers? Why? All that different. We have different opinions. We gonna have different takes, different deliveries, different styles. We different people, different voices, different talents. All our channels are free. Why not let people watch all 10 of us? Why would we, or 20 of, why would, so I understand. I get it, Miss Pat. I get it.
I asked Joe to do it and no problem, Pat, just send it to me.
Wow.
That's because, we too busy thinking there's not enough space for all of us.
It happens all the time.
And it is. If I can help you, I'm going to help you. Mm-hmm. I want to see everybody on top.
It happened to me because I have a cognac. This is my cognac, Shay by Laportier. Laportier is poured in.
You want to give me a few bottles for my party?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will, no problem.
Y'all heard that?
Yeah, no problem. And I send it to a lot of my friends. Now, when they send me things, T-shirts or product, I post it. I said, my product, not one.
Not one.
Not one.
Hey, if you send me your stuff, Shannon, I post it. I drink it too. I'll be on his joint, toe up. Shannon Sharpe, Laportier. I would support it, man. Mrs. Petty, I support your stuff too. See, y'all don't want my support. Why? I'm too small. See? Levels. But I get your point, though, Shannon. I get your point. When people act like they act like they're friends of yours and then they don't have your back, that leaves a sting. That stings. It does. They don't support your efforts. I've been there. But why do people sometimes don't want to support efforts? They get stung by people when they do support. Come on, Shannon, you know how it is.
And I don't know why we like that.
Because sometimes we feel that if we get something, they lose something. Mm-hmm. Instead of, okay, well, he got it. Like, if somebody moves, like, I don't look at somebody, like I live in a neighborhood, nice neighborhood. If somebody black, oh, what they doing over here? I don't look at it like that. I'm like, man, oh, okay. Somebody else got some money, making enough money that can live here. Mm-hmm. I don't look at it, or what they doing here. The same thing you do. It's a nice neighborhood, a nice school district. We well off. I don't know why we're like that, Miss Pat. I really don't.
Probably all the way date back to slavery.
Probably
that one Negro that made
you
it
in the house, you in the fields. Mm-hmm. I'm better than you.
I'm better than you. I'm light skinned. You dark skinned. Yeah. It's every time we have a black baby, until we break those curses, those things are still going to be spilled into our community.
No, it's also, guys. It's not just that. It's also scarcity, as in the struggle. You know what I'm saying? It's a struggle. It's an uphill struggle. And people feel like their back is up against the wall. If you're in survival mode, You're gonna be a different person than when you're not in survival mode. When you're just trying to make it, when you're just trying to hang on. For a couple of years, I was just trying to hang on. Nobody came and rescued my ass. I had to rescue myself. I helped people in the past when I was in survival mode where they at. But they don't owe me anything. And I don't owe them anything. Now that I'm no longer in survival mode. But I used to want to help everybody. And then when you stop helping people, then you become their enemy. And then, come on, so it cuts both ways. When you help people, then when you stop, they feel like you owe them, like you got to keep going. I got stories I could tell. I'm not going to bore y'all with it. But I understand what Mrs. Pat's saying. Miss Pat, I get it. It is sad that this happens. I'm going to put it to the community, man. What do y'all think about this? I don't want to pile on and just say it's a black thing. Man, you know what? I didn't know until last year that Rock and Vin Diesel hated each other. They couldn't stand each other. Did you know that? Like sometimes people talk about black folks as if we never get along. There are white people that don't get along with other white people. Certain people. There's beef. Just because it don't make the front page. Just because it's not a podcast about it. I was reading that The Rock and Vin Diesel had to film with doubles because they both refused to be in the same room with each other to do scenes. Now you can say they're both black, but I guess no. My point is this. Like there are other people that have other issues that never gets talked about. And sometimes I think we harp on it too much. I think money has something to do with it. I think where you are, I think being in survival mode has something to do with it. A number of things. Insecurities and all that stuff. All of it. Yeah, but I appreciate it. This was a great conversation. I think it gets the ball rolling. So people, here goes my question. Have you experienced where you help people out? No. That's not a question. What's Miss Pat really saying? Can we do a better job helping each other? That would always be yes. But I would also add the caveat, we got to also be careful who we help. Because once you help people, once you bring people into your circle, things go bad, they can either big you up or they can dog you out. And dogging you out always gives them more incentive to dog you out than to big you up. See what I'm saying? It's always more lucrative to dog you out because people want to hear the negative. They're not going to flock. If somebody puts out a video about me, typically it's dogging me out. It's some people that I didn't even know. You know these people. Calling me Tim Scott, running around, shitting on me. I don't even know him. Because it's more lucrative to dog you out than to big you up. So I don't know if that's a question or not. I do want to know what you guys think about what Miss Pat said. I'm not saying I disagree with her, but I just want to add a little bit of texture to it because I think it's not as cut and dry as it was kind of being displayed. Joe Rogan may be a good guy, and I got no reason to say he's not. But those are his friends. Shannon Sharpe works with his friends, and I'm assuming with his friends, things go well. People that are not his friends, I don't know what he does with people that aren't his friends. Then we got to ask ourselves, who are our friends? Do we have friends? Or we have social climbers? Do we have people that are just trying to get ahead and use us as a stepping stone? Or are they really our friends? And once we start defining who our friends are, now we can recalibrate and decide, should we be upset? Or did we have too high the expectation?